Hi, everyone. Welcome. Very excited to be here today with our guest, Lorenzo Vigas. He's the director of The Box, having his North American premiere here at Tiff in our special presentation section. Lorenzo was last here in 2015 with his first feature, Desde Allá, From Afar, that actually won the Golden Lion at Venice. So that's very exciting to have his second feature here. And so great to have some time to talk with you today, Lorenzo. Welcome.
I'm very happy to be here with you, Diana, and we're very excited also to have the film shown in Toronto.
So it's your second feature, La Caja, the Box.
Yes.
It's like your first film. Like, I mean, there's so many layers. So I want to start with one of the pieces that I find really interesting. You shot in Chihuahua, in Ciudad Juarez. I can imagine that must have been such a challenge. You actually shot in one of the factories. Can you just tell us a little bit? Yeah, just a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it was for me, La Caja had to be an impressive film in terms of visual impact, and also there was those very dark feelings inside the characters. So for me, it was very important to have a balance, so that the visuals would be beautiful and would in a way compensate for those very dark energy and emotions that are driving inside the characters. And the maquiladora, the factory, was also very important because you kind of are in this very harsh environment, and suddenly you're in this very modern and almost out of displaced. No, and so it was a big challenge to be able to shoot inside a maquiladora. Almost impossible. I think this is the first Mexican film that has been able to have a team inside and shoot. They're very jealous about their production lines. It's normal. So there are laws and rules, and they're also jealous about people not really seeing the working conditions of their employees. So it was very tricky. We spent a year trying to find a maquiladora. And I also wanted this maquiladora to be very modern and in a way like from a, I don't know, from a sci-fi film, to also to have this impression or thing that is like a monster eating people, you know, and also that would create this huge contrast between the harshness where those people come from, those towns in Mexico. We shot in Chihuahua, so it was a lot of people from La Sierra de Creel, which this is mountains in Chihuahua where we shot the snow sequences, and where they would go and find people for the maquiladoras. So this harshness in contrast with this amazingly modern huge monster. So that was very important to have this contrast in the film. So we spent a year trying to find a maquiladora. Impossible to find a maquiladora. We tried for so many ways, and we were so lucky. A maquiladora went bankrupt like a week before, and we were able to rent the space and pay the people that would really work in the maquiladora. So the people you see working there are people that really work in that place. We were very lucky to have this maquiladora when bankrupt just a week before we shot there.
Yeah, it's interesting because you do have that contrast with the harshness of the landscape, this very modern maquiladora. I really love like the visual effects that you have in the film, and you shot in 35, right? Can you talk about that choice, like why you decided to shoot in 35 millimeter?
Yeah, it was an expensive choice. It was it would complicate everything, but for me, it was really worth doing it. I knew it was going to take the film visually to another standard, another. There is something emotional about the 35, emotional, subjective, but it really gets into the viewer. That's what I think, and what the cinematographer Sergio Armstrong also thinks. And you know, the process of the 35, the way the light goes through the celluloid, it's very similar that what happens in the eye. The light gets through your eye and it's projected in the retina, in the retina. So it's very similar. So video hasn't achieved that yet. Even though video is amazing and there's so many good films that can be made in video, I think there are films that are still better to shoot in 35, depending on the location, depending on many things. And this was the case with the box. So we did an effort, and I'm very happy to have the film shot now in 35.
Yeah, and you talk about like a lot of the luck that accompanied you in the film, like the finding the maquiladora, being able to shoot in Ciudad Juarez. You have a wonderful young actor, Hatzín. Can you tell us how you found him?
Hatzín is for me a miracle, really, because he's. It was. I knew this was the biggest challenge of all. I mean, it was a challenge to shoot in Chihuahua, the most dangerous state in Mexico. So it was extremely, I mean, we had to do a lot of research in terms of where to shoot, where not to shoot, how to deal with the cartels in Chihuahua was something very hard. And we had some security from the government, but that was a huge effort. But I knew that finding the young leading actor was going to be the key factor if we wanted to achieve success or a good film. And so we spent a lot of time interviewing young boys from Mexico City, and not only Mexico City, but the neighbors. And we spent almost 6-7 months interviewing boys, and I would see the interviews. And I knew I wanted to make a short workshop with some of the best boys, and we did a workshop. And Hatzín wasn't in that workshop, and I knew I was still worried about not finding the young character. And a week before we had to move to Chihuahua to start working there in the pre-production, I saw this interview of this boy, and I felt this an amazing character with a huge with a problem with his father, and that was a key factor. He had something very deep inside, very broken, and I wanted to meet this boy, and I met him, and it was immediate. I mean, it was immediate. I knew he was the one, because he not only had these deep emotions about his real father, but he was very talented, and I could put a camera next to him, and he was amazing. So I was lucky. It was just a week before we had to go to Chihuahua.
No, it's amazing. Like his performance is so nuanced. Like he's very impressive. With your first film, you also explored father-son relationships. This has occurred, in your second film again. But what's interesting to me is like you explore this father-son relationship story, this search for a father in a border town. Can you just tell us a little bit about, you know, the script, because it's such an original script? I have to say, I did not expect the story to go the way it did.
Well, this is the best thing you can tell me because I know it was a long process, as usual, because all my processes are long, but this screenplay was a long process. I saw one day a news of some people going to a mass grave in Spain, going to pick up the remains of their loved ones from the Civil War, the Spanish Civil War. And I saw this news. I was here in Mexico, and I took a piece of paper and I started to write the story. And in 1 hour, I had the whole story written. I was crying. It has only happened once with me. But this was like the beginning. And so I knew I wanted to have a collaboration with, so I worked with two women from Mexico City, Laura Santullo and Paula Markovich. And it was a very intense collaborative process where we take this original 1-2 pages story and we made it into a screenplay. And people here in Mexico ask me how all those themes about, you know, the disappearance of women in Mexico, which, you know, it's a very important theme here in Mexico. Thousands of women have disappeared. And how this thing about the maquiladora got in the film, how the thing about the workers, the working condition got in the film. And it was in a very natural way for me, because what I had scenes at the beginning. What I had was this boy desperately trying to find his father, finding a man that he says he's not him, but the boy is sure about his father. So all those different themes about the film, which are very important and which really are the word of the film, came in a very natural way. I got here in Mexico 20 years ago. And, you know, if you're sensible to the things that happen here. And you're sensible about the thing about the father never being home, this, you know, absence of father, which is so important in Mexico and other Latin American countries, and how this thing really determines a lot of things about your life, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. And I wanted to make a film about this especially, but then those other topics just got into the screenplay in a very natural way. And of course, what was tricky was to have all those elements in the you know, in the level where they wouldn't go over the other topics from the film. So, but I'm happy because I think at the end we could achieve it, and also I wrote many scenes in Chihuahua while shooting. From Afar, I think it was a tighter screenplay when I went to shoot. This screenplay was a bit larger and was still missing some scenes, important scenes. So I have many scenes, important scenes that I wrote like a day before shooting them in Chihuahua. So it was very important to have an elastic production team that would allow me to insert a new scene that was just being written.
Yeah, I think you did a brilliant job with the script. It's so multi-layered. And one of them, I remember when you came with Desde Ya in 2015 to Toronto, you started the Q&A with a question to the audience. And I know that with this film, you also have a question, like you leave the audience with a question. I was wondering if you wanted to talk about that, because we did talk about that by phone.
Yeah, I would ask the audience if Mario is Hatzín's father or not. So is he his real father, or is he manipulating the boy and just telling the boy that he's his father because he wants to have the boy close to him? He knows the boy it's good. I mean, he utilizes the boy. So I would ask that question. So it's he his real father, even though I think it's not that important in this film, the question, because what's important in the film it's that the boy believes it, and what the boy does because he believes that Mario is his father, and the decision at the end the boy takes, because this is going to be seen after people see the film. No?
Exactly.
So the decision the boy made at the end to decides to keep the box as his father. So, and I would also ask the question, what do you have in your box? Because we all have a box at home in our lives. Some are able to open the box during the life, but some aren't able to open the box, and the box stays closed for all your life. So I would ask also the audience, what do you have in your box?
This is what I love about your films. There's like so much to talk about and to ponder on. And congratulations! It's really a wonderful film. I'm so happy we're showing it here at TIFF. Everyone will have seen it now, and cannot wait to see you in person. It's been too long.
I would love to, and thank you everyone, and hope you enjoyed the films, and hope you see you soon.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Gracias.
Gracias, Diana. Bye.
Bye.